Hello. Some viewers have asked me to upload videos on Mr. Lee Kuan Yew's brother, Freddy Lee Thiam Yew. I actually had uploaded one some time ago, but I think they missed it. But anyhow, it doesn't matter because I love to talk about nice passenger that I've served, especially VIPs like Mr. Freddy Lee. Of course, he passed away in 2012 at the age of 85. But I met him in 1974. That was about 50 years ago. I was a young man then, maybe 28 years old, and he was probably around 50. I had this privilege really is to serve this nice, friendly passenger. You know, he came on my flight. He couldn't get a bed. We had bed on a Boeing 747, but only 12 were available on the first come first serve basis for the first class passenger. 12 out of 24 passenger. He didn't have one. So he asked me whether I could get him. I said, well, I'll try. I'll talk to the other passengers. So he smiled at me and he said, I know you could do it. And true enough, I got it for him after takeoff. My crew and I spoke to one passenger. Uh, he had a bed. This is a Singapore, Bahrain, London flight. So it's a long night flight of 14, 15 hours. So it's a big deal to have a bed to sleep. Not, of course, first class seat they are very comfortable. You can recline. But having a bed in the upper deck was really a big deal. You could lie flat. So I managed to get for him, and he was so happy. Then during the flight, after he got up and he wanted a drink, and he sat down with me and he called me aside and asked me to have a drink with him. It was, I mean, the cabin was really quite dark. So we sat down. I mean, I was only a flight attendant. I was a supervisor, a flight attendant. Who am I to sit down with Mr. Freddy Lee, the younger brother of Lee Kuan Yew? Wow. And he told me a lot of things, with almost an hour. He was quite chatty, nice person, warm personality, humble, and that's why I want to talk about him, even till today. Things that he told me were really big deal to us, especially back then, 1974, when his brother, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, was the prime minister at the height of his career and what he did for Singapore. You know. So we chat and then we chat, have a drink, and he even tell me things like Lee Kuan Yew's children would come over to his house during the weekend to watch television and read comics as children will do. Because at home, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew do not have TV sets and don't allow the kids to read comics. So they went over to Uncle Freddy's house and they enjoyed themselves over the weekend. I don't know whether Mr. and Mrs. Lee Kuan Yew knew about it. Then he told me about his brother being a very careful man, like always be wary of the communists who wanted to assassinate him. So Freddy at one time used to be the superintendent, I think, of traffic. So he was tasked to escort he and his team to escort his older brother from his house to the office. I think the office was in the city parliament building. So every morning, Freddy and his team, the police escort, will escort Mr. Lee Kuan Yew to work and then bring him back. And he told me Sometimes at the last minute, his brother would change the routing because he doesn't want to take the usual route. So it was kind of a surprise. But he said, "Don't you ever be late or else he'll scream at you." He's so particular about punctuality. You know. And well, this is already 5 minutes video, so I don't want to talk too much anymore. But the next time I met him was in a Chinese restaurant called Kam Tong Chinese Restaurant in Bayswater, London. He was having his meal with his family, and I was with my crew having our meals too. And we didn't want to interrupt each other, so we just waved at each other, you know. Really nice of Freddy. May he rest in peace. Thank you very much for watching my video.